Thank you very much. Firstly, my gratitude to Mr. Arvind Kumarji, with whom I've had the association since long, 2005, 2006, when we embarked upon the journey of large-scale governance transformation in the country. I had the privilege of leading the TCS global government business for 14 years. And in that period between 2004 and 2018, I again had the privilege of leading some very marquee transformational initiatives, which included the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. That was the first one, which won the Prime Minister's award for digital transformation in the country. It was the first program under the Prime Minister's Mission Mode initiative of e-governance. Subsequently followed up with large-scale simplification of the income tax filing system, the SARAL, the single-page form, digital form that we were able to introduce, making it very simple for taxpayers to file taxes. Subsequently followed with a large transformation in customs and excise, thereby bringing a lot of ease of transactions and ease of doing business with customs and excise departments in the country. And of course, the marquee program, which was the Passport Seva program, which many of you, I'm sure, have experienced in your lives as you have applied for passports in the recent past. Today, all the speakers talked about the fact that as India moves towards being digital India, large, high-volume digital transactional interfaces are being built and deployed between the citizens, the business, and the government. And therefore, with the volume kept in view and mind, it becomes absolutely increasingly important to ensure that the transactional interfaces are secure, they are safe, they are conducted by bona fide, at both ends, the receiver and the sender. And therefore, the importance of the PKI regime becomes all the more relevant in today's context. I remember initially in the days around 2004, 2005, when through the MCA 21 program, every single director's identification number holder mandatorily had to have a digital signature. That was a real bold step by the government to ensure that they were trying to bring order to the chaos. It used to be in the past a practice for many of the company directors to outsource their responsibilities and fiduciary activities of filing and many other interfaces with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs to chartered accountants, to their assistants, to others. And therefore, this whole Information Technology Act clause of non-repudiation was very, very difficult to achieve in that kind of a regime. That was brought to order with this implementation of the PKI digital signature initiative for every single DIN holder in the country. At that time, I remember we were 10 lakh companies and that many number of directors and that many number of digital signatures. Today, after 20 years of that effort, I think it's not just going to be digital India by default, but it has to be every application has to become digital signature embedded by default. I think that's the regime that we are coming to. And when I discuss with governments today, large implementations like the public finance management system or the several state governments who have implemented large programs like integrated financial management system, where huge volumes of financial transactions are going on, for example, it is all the more important to establish the identity of the individual who is undertaking the transaction. Later, they should not be in a position to deny that they were not the ones who actually did the transaction, and therefore, the digital signature, the PKI regime, becomes all the more relevant in today's context. I'll spend the next few minutes in just highlighting the importance of PKI in the current Indian build-up of the digital public infrastructure, or what in the G20 India is positioning itself as being the champions of creating platforms of digital public good that is now being discussed. As we sit in Bangalore, the current discussions are going on in Delhi exactly on the same lines, where many, many marquee applications of India, developed in India, made for people in India, are today becoming relevant for people around the world. One of them is, of course, UPI, which is a very, very common example. And the other day, I saw a very interesting application where from the mobile phone, you were able to basically access a QR code on the ATM terminal. And the mobile actually talks to the ATM terminal, and you are able to either withdraw or deposit cash without the use of a plastic card. So we are coming to fairly advanced levels of maturity in terms of UPI used end-use applications, and these become extremely relevant, and countries like France, Singapore, and other countries, today UAE, are really looking at our platform for replication in their respective countries. So here is the opportunity for India, where I call it the age of the digital diplomacy phase of India. What we have done for ourselves to solve problems of our own country, we are now able to take to the rest of the countries where similar problems exist, specifically the developing countries, where it can be India's contribution, the soft power capabilities of India can be actually taken and shared with those countries who have similar problems. So in today's dynamic digital landscape, it is important to emphasize that public key infrastructure serves as the cornerstone of digital public infrastructure, providing the critical cryptographic framework and trust mechanisms essential for safeguarding digital communications and transactions within the DPI ecosystem. I want to underscore that PKI's robust architecture empowers the issuance, management, and validation of digital certificates and digital signatures, ensuring the integrity, authenticity, and confidentiality of data exchanged through the DPI frameworks. Among the remarkable contribution of DPI, a standout feature is its capacity to facilitate digital signature, a revolutionary change in the execution of contracts and agreements. DPI, digital public infrastructure, harnesses the power of public key infrastructure to facilitate digital signatures. When a user initiates a digital signature within DPI, their private key is employed to create a distinct cryptographic signature that becomes an integral part of the document. This cryptographic signature is generated using a secure hashing algorithm, ensuring data integrity. Subsequently, the recipient can verify the signature's validity by employing the sender's public key, thus confirming both the document's authenticity and its unaltered state. DPI reliance on digital signatures not only guarantees trustworthiness, but also provides a highly secure, paperless alternative to traditional signatures, bolstering the overall security and efficiency of digital signatures. Powered by the robust framework of digital public key infrastructure, digital signatures not only possesses legal validity, but also provides an eco-friendly, paperless alternative to conventional signatures. DPI's global reach extends beyond borders, fostering cross-border transaction and cultural exchange while steadfastly upholding the highest standards of privacy and security. Moreover, the remarkable flexibility of the DPI allows it to seamlessly integrate emerging technologies like blockchain, further enhancing security and transparency in the digital landscape. Digital certificate in the DPI regime employs digital certificates following the X.509 standard, containing essential fields like subject, issuer, public key, serial number, and validity period. A hierarchical trust model involves trusted certificate authorities, CAs, issuing certificates to end entities, ensuring authenticity. Certificate revocation mechanisms include certificate revocation lists, CRLs, and online certificate status protocol, OCSP, manage compromised or expired certificates. CAs can sign certificates using their private keys, and certificate validation involves certificate signature verification and trust chain establishing using the CA's certificate. Secure key pair generation, certificate distribution, and adherence to regulatory compliance further fortify DPI's robust public key infrastructure. These certificates facilitate secure identity verification and encrypted communication, serving as the foundational support for the integrity and trustworthiness of DPI. Private and public key pairs within the intricate framework of digital public infrastructure, private and public key pairs serve as the linchpin of security. These keys, generated through robust cryptographic algorithms, ensure secure digital signatures and encryption. The private key, a closely guarded secret, empowers entities to sign documents with unique cryptographic signatures. These signatures are verified by recipients using the corresponding public key, ensuring document integrity. Certificate authorities issue digital certificates binding public key to identities, fostering trust in the DPI ecosystem. Key revocation mechanisms and regulatory compliance further fortify security. In essence, private and public key pairs underpin the trust, confidentiality, and integrity essential for DPI's mission of secure digital transactions and communications. Certificate revocation, in the case of DPI, the revocation of digital certificate is vital. If a certificate is compromised or no longer valid, it needs to be revoked to prevent unauthorized access and use. PKI includes mechanisms for certificate revocation, such as CRL, certificate revocation lists, or online certificate status protocol, OCSPs. CRLs are periodically updated lists issued by CAs containing detailed information about certificates that have been revoked, like a blacklist. Meanwhile, the OCSP offers real-time certificate status verification by directly querying the CA's server. Together, these methods ensure that certificates posing potential security risks are swiftly identified and invalidated. The intricate certificate revocation system underscores DPI's unwavering commitment to upholding the highest standards of security and trustworthiness in the digital domain. Within the complex domain of digital public infrastructure, the precise administration of cryptographic keys assumes a pivotal role. This foundational element comprises several vital components, commencing with the secure generation of keys utilizing resilient cryptographic algorithms. The protection of these keys becomes of utmost importance, often necessitating the deployment of hardware security modules, HSMs, or secure containers to shield them from unauthorized access. Ensuring the secure distribution of keys to designated entities free from interception or tampering is equally critical. Routine key rotation procedures are in place to migrate the long-term risks associated with key exposure. It is very exciting to note that governments, both central and state in India, are increasing, and worldwide indeed, are increasingly embracing the transformative power of DPI to reshape how citizens access vital information and crucial resources and interface and transact with government. From the streamlined processes of obtaining official documents to essential task of overseeing public health, DPI-driven e-governance initiatives are leading a revolution that enhances accessibility in the new era of transparency. Furthermore, DPI effectively minimizes persistent threats of data breaches and unauthorized intrusions through the implementation of robust encryption mechanisms. DPI is tasked with navigating the intricate terrain of regulatory compliance, conforming to stringent data protection regulations such as GDPR, as in the case of Europe, or HIPAA, as in the case in the US, entails the implementation of robust encryption methods, meticulous user content management, and the establishment of secure data storage, The adoption of recognized encryption standards like AES is instrumental in upholding data confidentiality within DPI. Additionally, DPI may be subjected to rigorous certification procedures such as ISO 27001, serving as a validation of its effectiveness of the security protocols. The continuous oversight through monitoring, meticulous audit trails, and stringent access controls becomes imperative for the regulatory alignment, guaranteeing the DPI operations consistently uphold the highest standards of security and legal compliance. A multitude of technical facets coalesce to form a robust and secure ecosystem. This digital framework relies on advanced cryptographic algorithms to safeguard data, emphasizing secure key management through hardware security modules. Trusted certificate authorities issue digital certificates anchoring the system's trustworthiness. The underlying public key infrastructure manages certificates, keys, and digital signatures, ensuring the integrity of data exchanges. Secure communication protocols, access control mechanisms, and threat detection systems contribute to DPI's resilience. Data encryption, regulatory compliance, monitoring, audit trails, and disaster recovery strategies further fortify its security. Embracing secure development practices, DPI represents the apex of dependable, trustworthy digital infrastructure. PKI, within the context of digital public infrastructure, presents a set of unique challenges that must be effectively addressed to ensure its successful implementation and operations. Challenges include scalability. One of the real key challenges is how, when we deal with 140 billion people and we scale pan-India wise kind of usage of applications, how do we manage the volume growth of the user base? Key robust management, evolving threat landscapes, ensuring interoperability amongst diverse DPI components, meeting regulatory compliance requirements, and efficient certificate revocation mechanisms are among some of the key challenges. Overcoming these challenges involved implementing scalable PKI architecture, employing hardware security modules for key protection, staying updated and with security threats on a continuous basis, adhering to established standards, ensuring regulatory compliance, and establishing an efficient certificate revocation mechanism such as CRL or OCSP. Addressing these challenges collectively ensures that PKI remains a reliable foundation for the secure operation of DPI, supporting its mission to provide a secure and trusted digital services. PKI's technical aspects within the digital public infrastructure are extensive and encompass identity management, encryption, digital signatures, secure communication, regulatory compliance, and adaptability to emerging technologies. This robust framework forms the backbone of security and trust in DPI, ensuring its effectiveness and reliability in the digital era. I am very, very happy to be a part of this extremely focused, theme-based conference, which is happening for the fourth time here in Bangalore. And I really compliment CDAC, IEEE Bangalore, duly supported and totally motivated by this CCA's office to hold such a forum and bring practitioners all together. I'm looking forward to listening to the deliberations later in terms of the case studies. And clearly, we are evolving into a landscape in India where we are going to get more and more digital by default. And as I mentioned, parallel and alongside by going more and more digital, we must look at some of our existing applications as to how we can make them PKI enabled to make them more secure. Identity management is one of the biggest challenges today, whether it is in the private sector, whether it is in the public sector. The establishment of the facet of the clause in the IT Act of non-repudiation is more relevant today than it was ever before. And therefore, the logical relevance, the technical relevance of a digital signature combined with identity management is the way I foresee in the future that technology is going to evolve, where both these functionalities will be converted into one single user-based user device that will come in the future, because it's equally important to ensure that the transactions trust levels are high, as indeed the identity of the individual who actually undertakes the transaction. So again, thank you very much for giving me a patient hearing. I wish the conference all success, and I look forward to the deliberations. It's an extremely relevant area that you have chosen to deliberate on, and I look forward to some of the case studies that are going to be discussed in the course of today and tomorrow, and wish the conference all success. And again, I end up by thanking Dr. Sudarshan, Dr. Balaji, who have been so kind enough to invite me here to speak. I remember all the experiences of having undergone and worked with several government entities in our journey of bringing transformation. That flashes back in my mind, and my mind also goes back to the formative years of the software testing and certification processes that I actually was involved with Mr. Arvind Kumarji's office when he was DG of STQC, as to how this whole public-private initiative brought about real change in governance. And that's what we did. Some of those programs are marquee programs. They really demonstrate, they are showcased to global governments in terms of what India has done to simplify the ease of governance. And I'm sure that more and more maturity, as we can all see, is coming into the adoption of technology amongst the users. We have over 100 billion people today with a smartphone all over the country. The real potential of power of governance is yet to be realized. It's in the days ahead. And when we talk about mobile governance, all the more reason how establishing trust and identity of the persons holding that mobile, undertaking those transactions, become more and more relevant. And I see the increasing serious relevance of the PKI technology becoming more and more prevalent until a time when we reach where India should be digital PKI-enabled application infrastructure by default. That's the final goal, and I'm sure with collective efforts of the community, the private sector, the government entities, NIC, CDAC, and all the agencies who implement systems for the government, this will become a reality someday very soon. Thank you very much for your attention.